Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back. Dudes, man, listen. I've been over here. Let me be honest with you. Okay. Things have been hard the past couple of years, grinding it out, working, doing all the type of shit. By the way, listen, these some AI joints I'm throwing the fuck together. Proper thing in the background for time to go when it's go time, baby. Right? I've been standing here, uh, grinding it out and working, doing what I gotta do. But since Joe Biden putting all these fucking immigrants, my pay has decreased significantly. And in doing so, I haven't been able to square the bills the way that I need to. I mean, just is what the fuck it is. So, in understanding that fact, my gas got cut off. And they were supposed to come through on like Tuesday to put the shit back on, right? They didn't do that shit. So I had to wait. And the gas company called me, put my fucking shit back on because I paid all the bill. I was like, bro, listen, fuck this. Make sure it's good, right? I'm getting caught up because things are getting better out there, kicking immigrants out of the goddamn labor force. And the trucking company screaming, "We have a shortage." They don't, bro. They ain't got no fucking shortage, bro. Don't believe any of that nonsense. They have a fucking pay shortage, is what the fuck they got. Get on misunderstood. They ain't got a capacity shortage. Because believe me, rates are at fucking the lowest they have ever been. I don't understand why trucking companies would want to stand here and fucking go, "Hey, listen, we could make more money if we had less drivers." We could charge more. The fuck are we doing, right? Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so rates are at the lowest they've ever been. But yeah, anyway, so when you call the gas company to cut your shit back on, they're like, you got to wait between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. And so I waited around all day today, you know what I mean? And I worked night, so I didn't get to fucking sleep. So I went to bed at fucking 5:30 once it was cut back on because the motherfucker didn't show up until 4 fucking 15. Right? Yeah, listen, couldn't let me know. Been later in the afternoon. I could have slept a little bit so I can go to work tonight. But it is what it is. I missed out on $300. So ended up, once it got cut back on, got a shower, did some other type of shit. Listen, hot water is a nice thing to have. I'll be real with you. You never know how much you miss hot water until you don't have it anymore. Life is what life is, son. Life is what life is. But home tonight, and I saw this the other day on Neurojack's stream, right? And Neurojack, listen, bro, I like him as a human being, but he is a terrible fucking dude. He's just bad at his goddamn job. Let me keep it a beam with you. It's when you put some shit on, you need to stop and talk about it and discuss things and have conversations with other motherfuckers. You know what I mean? If that's what you're doing. Me, I'm doing this on solo tonight. And I'm all by my motherfucking self. I'm all by myself. Right? You know what I mean? That's where we are tonight. So at the moment, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down this motherfucking video. Right? I'll tell you what, I'm probably gonna turn real quick. Actually, okay. So check this out, bro. I bet she sucks a mean dick. Keep it a beam with you, but she doesn't enjoy doing it anymore. When she was when she was a teenager, I bet you she was like, I love sucking dick. And she'd play with herself, you know what I'm saying, and get off while she sucked dick. And today she probably, isn't about that life anymore. Mostly because she ain't getting the type of dudes who she would actually fucking had that privilege with. Right. But yeah, listen, anybody with a face tattoo, yo, they know what the fuck they doing. And she got some big ass hands too, bro. That shit's fucking crazy, bro. That shit's crazy work. But anyway, all right. So we're gonna listen to what the fuck this broad has to say. Because yo, got some interesting stuff that she was talking about, and I couldn't break it down on Neurojack's channel because Neurojack doesn't know how to fucking stream. All right. So let's get this.
Peter Thiel stuff, yeah. Even though Peter Thiel would, I don't think, ever outwardly, but this is also Elon Musk. This is Scientology. This is all the same thing. They want to live forever. It's a 1 billion-year contract, right? That's you're kind of signing up for you're coming back, right? So post-mortal society towards a sociology of immortality, studies in death, materiality, and the origin of time. I mean, this is all that these people do. This is all that they do. Now, am I saying that some of these cults, like the process, like the family, maybe 4Pi, 4P?
Yeah, listen. I know that like a lot of y'all are like y'all were trained to like the perfect girl next door. You know what I mean? Like you watch like weirdo anime bullshit growing the fuck up. But like, listen, this here's the type of smut I grew up with. Right? I'll be real. Like, listen, right now in my brain, I'm like, I'm just seeing this bitch like yo face down, ass up. You know what I mean? Just like, like yo losing a motherfucking brain, climbing the walls and shit. You know what I mean, this is where my mental is. Like, I don't know. I'm waiting on her to get into the shit. I could just. Neurojack was like, yeah, 38 minutes. I'm like, bro, listen, it's like 5 minutes after that. I didn't listen a little bit this before. I figured she was going to get right into it. As soon as she gets into this book, you'll understand why it is we're going to have.
The Children, the Son of Sam cult, that some of those things are not completely unrelated. I think that they're related. It's the game of the gods, right? It's a great game of the gods.
I don't like to gauge earrings, though. It'll be. I don't know. It's not my thing. I mean, it's never been my thing. I never understood putting extra holes in your fucking head. I mean, just unnecessary. Right? Like, I'm cool with earrings. You know? Like, bro, the gauges, why? I mean, eventually, like, you know, like you end up on that level where, like, you're sick, you're depressed, whatever fuck case is, right? And then, like, the motherfucker's kind of like, you know, fucking flop or whatever. Like, kind of funky and shit. And he's kind of gross. You know? It's an extra liability. By the way, could you imagine, like, this generation as, like, fucking, like, as, like, fucking old people? It's gonna be hilarious watching these motherfuckers. Tattoos on the face and that in the goddamn fucking nursing home. You know what I mean? With their flannel shirts on, eating goddamn avocado toast and shit, nigga. Like, throwing the meme out there. I'm part of this generation, too. I feel you, bro. I'm like, I'm 40. I feel where you are. I got ink myself, but, like, I'm probably gonna get more. I'll be real with you, but I'm not gonna fucking tattoo my face. Right?
It's also the rape game, right? So I think that that was the purpose that some of those things served back then, especially as far as taking a life. Because, I mean, again, I'm not really like into true crime and the whole like Mindhunter garbage, but you know, generally speaking, there is a huge power. I mean, there is a power imbalance, but psychologically speaking, it gives people a sense of being God, right? When you take a life. That's what a lot of people say that have murdered somebody. And especially in a intimate way, such as strangling or stabbing to death, stabbing 70 times, freaking whatever. I'm just saying. These things are not completely unrelated, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Now, let's go ahead and let's get into this thread. I know that people don't like X because of, you know, because of Elon, and like, that's fine. I get it. I'm not a fan of Elon either. Okay? At all. But is the tattoo on my forehead new? No, it's not new. I've had it for a while. I've had it since COVID. I got it when I was on the road. I don't know why that whole thing just completely threw me off. Anyways, I know that people don't like Elon, and that's fine. I'm not telling you to get X, but I am saying that you're going to get more accurate, noided news on X than you're likely going to get anywhere else. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all listen, they shouting out motherfucking Noid News. They go Pnoid News, baby, bro. Listen, shouting Tom P's out, bro. You know what I mean? Like, real shit. Like, I'm always ahead of the game, dog. Always ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Like, bro, hold on. I'm fucking putting this joint in the motherfucking, in the what you call it. There we go. Right. Yeah, listen, I feel you, bro. Like, the best Pnoid News is on Pnoid News. Let's keep it a bean. Right? Keep it a bean.
So, let's go ahead and take a look at two excellent researchers here, because it's a quote thread from.
Yo, I saw this. Like, listen, I got this really goddamn meme. Fucking from I got this really right. No, we only have one problem. The problem is our billionaires are niggers. They may be rich, but they're nigger rich. Nature and function of their wealth is profoundly meager. Probably name the exceptions. You can probably name exceptions. I can too. Everywhere the exceptions. Yeah, listen. That's the issue with a lot of the goddamn. I mean, like fucking, like none of these motherfuckers are building like like fucking cathedral, right? Or like beautiful buildings. They're not, like fucking helping the world out. They're not making the world a better place. They're all just like out here buying fucking yachts. Nonsense.
One of my buds. So right here, this is from January 28th from Para Power Mapping, Clonipin Gosh. If you guys don't listen to his show, you're definitely missing out. He's a very smart guy. The shooting of the Border Patrol agent in Vermont allegedly involved a no-cal vegan Sith murder cult made up of computer scientists and grads of the prestigious Lakeside School with ties to effective altruism and rationalism. Doesn't that smack of Luigi Mangione? Mangione, Meatball, the Luigi, the kid. I mean, he's young, right? That guy. So, I'm not going to sit here and pull all this up, but you can see it right there. Self-described vegan Sith ideology that started in the Bay Area and fake and gay, but still, it's very interesting. So, this is the book, Chapter 10, Whitley's Baby, The Unholy Junction of 1968, right? So, over here, let's zoom in a bit if we can, right? Let's go over here. That way you can see what I was looking for, because today, as far as what he's referencing in the first sentence, the Catholic Church, the whole of Christianity, the empire never really ended, right? William Sims Bainbridge is an American sociologist who specializes in religion and cognitive science and a senior fellow at the Institute for Ethics.
Yeah, this is where I wanted to be, bro. See, Neurojack gave me a terrible timestamp, bro. It was at like 12 minutes. Right? Fucking like, right, yeah, because this is what it is we were listening to. I apologize. I listen to like nonsense, but like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you gotta do what we gotta do. Let's get down to this.
And emerging technologies. Among his contributions to the field are his studies on how science fiction media, writing movies, and TV shows act as a potential self-fulfilling prophecy. He believes that, like Strieber's Visitors and Castaneda's Old Seers, ideas that embed themselves in human consciousness will eventually actuate themselves as reality. Another thing he believes, along with Willis Harman and Strieber's Master of the Key, is that developing the technology for space travel is essential for the survival of human culture. Many intelligent species probably end progress in a stew of mysticism, drugs, and decadent social institutions, which finally petrifies into a form of living extinction. Most of the rest destroy themselves more violently, a precious few, and we may be the first of this rare breed in our cosmic neighborhood, progress so rapidly, stimulated and guided by transcendent social movements, that they achieve interstellar communication and colonization before entering a static cultural phase. Only a transcendent, impractical, radical religion can take us to the stars. The alternative is one or another form of ugly death. To become fully interplanetary, let alone interstellar, our society would need another leap. And it needs that leap very soon before world culture ossifies into secure uniformity or decays into absolute chaos. We need a new spaceflight social movement capable of giving a sense of transcendent purpose to dominant sectors of the society. It also should be capable of holding the society in an expansionist phase for the longest possible time without permitting divergence from its great plan. In short, we need a galactic religion, a cosmic order. Oh, kind of like the Galactic Federation?
Yo, listen, okay. There's a problem with human beings, right? I mean, for a long time, like humans thought that humans were the center of the fucking universe. The world revolved around the Earth. And the universe revolved around everything on the Earth revolved around man. Like yo, we anthropomorphize things, right? We're like we see like humanity, right? And this ideology ends up like it's a very egotistical way of looking at the world, right? And I mean, where you're standing here thinking about like everything and thinking that like humans did this and that's dangerous. And the reason why that's fucking dangerous is because of the fact that these humans, right, as a whole, are only as good as they are because of like the energy that they've discovered, right? And they don't want to have that conversation about the fact that like the only reason that human beings have gotten to the level that they have technologically, right, and socially and mentally and all the things that come with it is because of like oil, right? It's because of petroleum. Like if you take away petroleum, humans are back to like, you know what I mean, fucking riding fucking horses and dragging shit across the fucking land and floating it down rivers again. Because that's what humans will do, because that's all they can do. Because human beings are fully incapable of doing anything without the fucking energy. This is the reality. Like our rapid advancement as a species isn't due to the fact that like, you know, we have stood here and, you know what I mean, like grown as a species because our energy ability has grown as a species. Like 1 gallon of fucking oil is equal to 340 gallons or 340 fucking men working for a day. Right? It's a crazy ass fucking concept. You know what I'm saying? As a whole. It's something like 40 billion humans a year, right? Extra work from our fucking energy have. Take that away. And all of a sudden, like, yo, we go back to like, you know what I mean, being basic ass fucking normal, I mean, agricultural humans. This is just the reality issue.
So let's zoom in here. That way I can read. All right, so here are some other things Bainbridge believes or claims to believe. Due to the decline in agricultural communities and the urbanization of society, there have been less opportunities for new communal sects to recreate medieval agrarian communities without necessarily reducing the opportunities for more radical communal cults. Utopian ambivalence towards nature is increasing, some groups embracing the earth, the agrarian sects, while others, those radical cults like Scientology or the process, isn't it convenient that that's what they pick, which Bainbridge studied in 1970 and Strieber reputedly made a film about in the 60s, try to escape it. The sect cult distinction is only a matter of degree, however.
The machine lies from breaking down the law, right? Something I've also been reading, like you know, the mastering a technique, right? You know what I mean? And fucking the process. Process and technique is very important for human beings who want to escape the ideologies that nature has a hold on you. When I speak about liberalism, right, I bring up Voltaire, right, because it's a really good like way to understand. Voltaire in the 1800s, there was an earthquake in Paris, and he said that he doesn't want to acknowledge that the earthquake exists because he doesn't want to let the earth have that much power over him. In other words, he wanted to divorce himself from like being a creature on a fucking planet. But this is basically like going, hey, listen, I'm not a fucking human, right? That's basically what that dude's saying. And in saying that, you're destroying your humanity as a whole. Right? That's highly important to understand. So, like, when we're talking about these things, talk about these things in a bigger picture, like human social, like ideology. Right? Either you're a human, right, and you enjoy being a human, which I enjoy being a human. Like, I get pussy, I fucking raise my kids, I fucking eat well. You know what I mean? I go outside and I fucking enjoy sunsets. You know what I mean? I fucking go fishing, I go hunting, I go hiking, I go in the river and go boating. Right? Listen, like I enjoy being a human on this earth and I enjoy this earth as part of me. Right? I enjoy being part of the earth and part of the whole cycle. But if you're somebody who's weak, doesn't get pussy, doesn't, you know what I mean, like have children, who isn't enjoying the like basics of life that humans have done for, you know what I mean, like, I don't know, millions of years at this point, right? Even back to before we were humans. You're not going to like fucking try to embrace that humanity. You're going to try and run from it because you want, because now like you're not happening to the world's happening to you, right? Why women enjoy liberalism more than men do, right? Because like a women, like, you know, the world happens to women. Men happen to the world, right? We manifest the world we want. Women exist in a world that's created for them. This is the thing, right?
However, since both can evolve back towards conventional, I cannot read the rest of that word, conventional society. Sorry, I can't read the rest of it. Okay, it's cut off. So, sect, which became a household appliance corporation. Sorry, guys, I can't read that. And the Oneida cult that became a silverware corporation. In other words, religious or quasi-religious communities that became productive contributors to capitalist society, workers. Bainbridge acknowledges the instability of experimental utopian communities, but sees them as providing useful data for building a sustainable society in harmony with the environment. This is the one time that I'm going to agree, but I am also going to ask everybody to put on their thinking caps. Does that not sound like some MK Ultra bullshit? Yeah, like the cults are MK Ultra bullshit. For them to gather data, also very good for honeypot operations, right? Because I do think that that's what the family was doing. I think that they were getting blackmail on a lot of people in Hollywood, right? So, their transcendent ideals and social cohesion allow them to work cooperatively for shared goals. They emphasize efficiency rather than luxury, and the need for social harmony means they generally attempt to control birth rates. Eugenics, anybody? Humanity needs brotherhood and harmony with nature, so utopian religious communes can provide valuable myths for the 21st century and beyond. Recall the maxim from Changing Images of Man and the Aquarian Conspiracy. In the new paradigm, work is a vehicle for transformation. Arbeit macht frei, labor makes you free. This is also a Masonic axiom quoted in Willis Harman's contribution to Ion's psychic research, Challenge to Science. Man is given by nature a gift, the privilege of labor. As part of its future envisioning, Harman's essay advocates a quote-unquote new Freemasonry. The symbolism of the Great Seal of the United States on the back of the dollar bill is perhaps the most potent reminder that the structure, the unfinished pyramid, is not complete unless the transcendent all-seeing eye is the capstone position. It is clearly in a transcendental sense that all men are created equal. Use of the term New Freemasonry implies that the esoteric may be in process of becoming disclosed. The occult may be coming into public view. I think that's really interesting with all the quote-unquote disclosures. Whether or not this is happening is a question we cannot yet answer. However, there are indications that make it a plausible proposition. What we can do and propose to do is summarize the main characteristics of the perennial philosophy and of true Freemasonry and examine what it would mean if this view of man in the universe were to become dominant. So, that's all good and well. Let's go ahead. Oh, wait, no. Let me finish. Sorry. I wish I could see the last freaking word over here. Maybe if I do that. Okay, sorry. Hopefully you guys can see that. That way I can read. Harman states that with the increasing power of multinational corporations, it becomes essential that their operative goals shift to become more like those of public institutions. He insists that capitalist structures are ultimately most compatible with the growing strength of self-determination as a cultural value, i.e. capitalism, and with widespread disenchantments with monopolistic socialist bureaucracy. If capitalism is to survive this challenge to legitimacy, he writes, the operative goals of corporations will have to undergo radical change. This radical change, now I can go, which he also terms the new transcendentalism, includes the recognition of the key role of work in meaningful human existence. Work, Harman states, is the main way in which persons contribute to the society and receive affirmation in return, thus developing a wholesome self-image. Okay. While Harmon was reinventing Freemasonry for the masses, William Bainbridge was studying the religious convictions of many UFO cults and noting how more and more like-minded UFO adherents and contactees were assembling to form scientistic cults. Ah, these cults have been central to the emergence of a Church of God galactic. A galactic civilization requires a new galactic religion, and scientistic cults, particularly UFO cults, are the purveyors of this new religious consciousness, which is, in Bainbridge's optimistic view, leading to the creation of a new theocratic order. The new galactic religion is politically and socially expedient because of its emphasis upon unfettered technological development. Before I continue, who's always out there? Well, he was when maybe he's not so relevant now, because I'm still looking for the Satanic Temple alleged bomber. His court records haven't been updated. I don't know where that guy is. If you're out there, I hope you're safe. What does Dougie Lucian always say? Like, oh, there's like a looming theocracy, right? But then we have all of this nonsense. Like, they're just like LARPing, right? They're libertarians that are LARPing. But Scientology believes this as well. So do the Mormons, right? Like, these are all UFO cults. I just think that it's very weird, and I think Bainbridge knows something that a lot of other people don't. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that the guys.
I mean, like, listen, so how religions work, right? And like, people don't understand like fucking religion as a whole because, like, again, we get back to this like human egotistical thing, right? Where they're like, oh, you know, like fucking religions are like what builds society and da 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 da. This like quasi elitist fucking view about shit, right? Quasi elitist theory view about religion, society, and cultures and things of this nature. Human beings, okay, operate and in a lot of like pyramidical fucking structures, right? You know what I mean? Where like you'll have these tribes that have a hierarchy, right? Where like, you know, you have like the fucking top dude, and then like motherfucking everybody kind of goes down from there. Top dude, and then I mean, like whatever it is. And like that dude will have like guys around him who will be like below him, but not by much, and they'll still be like above everybody fuck else. And usually these are groups of like up to like 100 people, and fucking this is how like things operated prior to like 6,000, well, 4,000, and you know, I mean, the processes of like agriculture. And then after agriculture, you know, I mean, once like large scale agriculture became a thing, slavery became a fucking thing. And that's why it is like you had that jump of like where you go from, you know, like fucking 5-to-1 fucking female to male ratio and like the fucking biological records to, you know what I mean, 16 or even 32-to-1, right? Fucking female to male, right? Because like all the dudes were enslaved and the top dude got access to all the women, right? And the top dude and his dudes. Because like, I don't know if you've ever seen like how a gang operates, right? You'll have the top dude, but then you'll have like his main man, and you need his main man. You need a couple of guys around you who you can fucking run with, because you got to be able to delegate authority. You can't do everything yourself. So like those dudes around you, you're gonna feed them pussy too, right? And they're gonna be able to breed, right? And they're gonna have multiple broads too. So, like, this is where this shit comes from, right? But then there's gonna be a lot of slaves underneath of that, right? So you figure like 5 or 6-to-1 on like, you know what I mean, at minimum of, you know what I mean, like fucking upper guys to lower guys, or lower guys to upper guys, right? So, you know, that's just how things work. Now, so you figure 4 times 5 is 30. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Oh, it's basic. Because like, you know, 4 top dudes can suppress like, you know what I mean, like fucking 30 or 40 like lower guys. How that operates. And so like this is how like that structure has like always worked, right? And like it works its way down in that manner. Now, and when you have like these agricultural orders like popping up where like everybody like lives in like this village lifestyle, what you will end up having is um you'll have these humans oh, fucking have to deal with each other every day. And these values, right, that are best for being able to survive long term, you know what I mean, and interact and like keep things just operating the way it's supposed to operate, right? They end up becoming like encrusted. They end up becoming like fucking, you know what I mean, something that just is part of the cultural, like that becomes the culture of the region, right? And depending on you where you are, you know what I mean, depends on like how hard things are to survive. So if you're in a place where, you know, like say you have like a month worth of like cold weather, and I mean like, you know, cold weather where like shit's kind of thin, but it's not that terrible, right? Um, which would be like places like the Levant, and like fucking the Mediterranean. You know, I mean these areas where, you know, Fertile Crescent would exist, where it just happens and everything, you know what I mean, like popped in. What you'll end up having is you'll have like these people create a culture, right? And then like they'll pass down stories from like father to son, right? For probably, you know, from mother to daughter, right? Or from mother to son, or father to daughter, right? Either way it goes, just sit around the campfire and tell these stories. Like say there's like a swamp somewhere near, right? And when you go to that swamp, you get bit by these mosquitoes, which give you malaria, and then people die, right? Well, like all of a sudden, like you'll be fucking telling these stories about people going like to the fucking swamp and then they die, right? You know what I mean? And like this keeps passed down and passed down and passed down, and eventually it gets to the point where like that fucking like nobody goes near that fucking swamp anymore. You know what I mean? And that becomes like a religious aspect. And then when a religion comes through, like that swamp becomes a parable about, you know what I mean, like fucking, you know, the dangers of whatever it is, right? This is how like religions are formed, right? So religions are things that like continue your culture forward, right? And people develop these fucking religions, right? You know, and as I said, like these are things that are passed down from father to son, son to daughter, you know, or father to son, you know what I mean, mother to daughter, whatever it is, right? And so when you have these religions that get passed down, you know what I mean, trying to fucking phones, like everything needs updated, and Windows wants to update. Tell it to fuck itself every day. I tell it to fuck itself like 4 or 5 times. Um, when you're standing here and you're passing all this shit down, right? Like these religions form like long term. Now, the thing is like we've had a culture without a religion for like a while now. I know you go, oh, Christianity. No, right? Nobody believes in God, right? You can't believe in God and then be able to forgive. That's hard. Like, you know, that's not how that works. Right. And so what they want to do is they go, all right, listen, you know what I mean? We want to be able to have like a religion that goes, okay, you know, we want to go to like fucking Mars, but there's only so much resources on the fucking planet. Right. You know what I mean? And like continuing to ship fruit cups, you know what I mean, 20,000 miles so that you can have like fruit cups in your goddamn refrigerator, you know what I mean, all week long. It's fucking retarded. Right, you know, I mean, it's just an absolute waste of energy. It wastes like fruit cups by themselves. I swear to God, waste like 15 million fucking gallons of oil every year. Right, fucking ridiculous. You're right, that is obscene. That's like an entire day's production for the U.S. Right, um, it's just way too much energy we're spending to like keep people who are not feeding the system, right, existing. You know what I mean, and continuing to like fucking be productive members of society. So the best way to be able to get these human beings is what bring back to the land thing. Right. Back to the land thing. Right. You know, I mean, this is why it is that you go, listen, if we want to go to space, we're going to take about 80% of the population and get them the fuck out of the economy, right? Or have them working on something the fuck else. But like not having them suck up so much of this energy. Remember, we talked about energy in the beginning of this, right? You know what I mean? Like oil and natural resources that we're going to need to be able to build spaceships to go across the fucking galaxy. That's the mentality, right? So religion will be a really good way to be able to do this. Now, here's the thing. This is very important to understand, okay? We are not the same. Me and you and your neighbor down the street, you and your wife, you and your girlfriend, you and your kids, not the same. All of you have interest of your own. If your interests don't match the interest of other people, okay, and your interests are dumb, we'll go with dumb, right? Like, if your interests are like, hey, listen, I want to be able to have You know what I'm saying? A $400,000 RV and retire and drive across the country, right? You are dumb. Okay? So all the rest of us, we would all go, that's dumb. But if they have and they make enough money to be able to do it, why shouldn't they be able to do it? That's liberalism, right? That's how liberals think. Now, in understanding this, if you go, well, my goal is to get humanity off this planet, and your goal is to get a $400,000 RV and drive across the country when you're 65 years old, right? And waste massive amounts of fuel to build the motherfucker, right? And all the fuel it took for you to earn that fucking 400 grand, and all the fuel is going to take a drive across the fucking place, plus the tires, plus the maintenance, plus the oil, plus the da 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 down the line, right? And he goes, yeah, listen, I would rather that shit there go into like productive means of getting us across the galaxy. We got fucking some conflicts about who needs to do what. Now, if you agree that humans needs to be a multi-planetary species, I personally don't give a shit about it at all, right, as a whole. But I can understand the argument. I would go, okay, listen, let's have a conversation and a compromise about it. People who motherfucking want to build the spaceships go, yeah, let's have a compromise about this. The retards who are fucking, you know what I mean, like doing Funko Pop stuff. I don't know if you eat them or you look at them, you play with them. I'm not sure what a Funko Pop is. I don't know. Okay? But that's the average shit. About 70% of the population goes, I just want to go to Six Flags and eat the corn dogs. Right? And then I want to go fucking listen to Taylor Swift and watch my Law and Order. Right? You know what I mean? That's the average human being. Okay? You know, and they will stand here and say, like, yo, it's evil, right? For you to say, oh, I don't want. It's evil for you to restrict my shit because you want to go to the stars. And they look at me and they go, you're a lapdog of power. Because, like, oh, you don't care about buying Funko Pops. And I go, yo, listen, right? I have children, right? And I enjoy spending time with my kids, right? I like them. I like my kids. They're cool, right? They're great. They're my babies, right? I would much rather spend my days, right, outside growing food and fishing and hiking and, you know what I mean, just like being with them all the time, right? Rather than having to go to work every fucking day and go earn money and risk my life and maybe die before they get here, before they grow up. I can make a compromise with these motherfuckers and go, hey, listen, I'm cool, right, with not having to like go to work every fucking day. I'm cool, you know what I mean, with not having my Funko Pops, right? Because I don't know what those are. As long as I can get my diabetes meds, right, and I can motherfucking like go have a place where I can have my children and we can grow food, you can do whatever the fuck you want with your time. Because I don't need nothing the fuck else. Right, being real. I can get a horse. You know what I mean? I can get a couple of horses. I can grow food and get more horses. And I can drive to the river and I can go fishing. I can grow worms. I can do the stuff I want to do. I can go and get pussy. I'm not concerned with this. I don't need y'all. Right? I'm good. That's my mentality. Right? And my kids will grow up, right, one day and become like adults. You know what I mean? And when my kids are adults, you know what I mean, we can have like a regular culture and civilization, right? And have a religion, right, that makes way more sense than like this fucked up ass Christianity bullshit that we have, right? That says, hey, listen, you know what I mean? You're a part of this land and you're a part of this family. And you're a part of a culture and a civilization, right, that exists and is beginning. And you're in the beginning stages of it and you're building it for later, right? And these people, your father, right, and these people made a deal. right? Where it's like, hey, listen, this is the deal. You get to be humans. They get to go be spacemen and do AI shit. And they don't bother you, and you don't bother them. You made a sacrifice, right, for humanity to continue to grow among the stars. And they made a sacrifice in saying, hey, listen, we don't have to have power over you. You get to go live your life and be with your family. That is reality. That is the beauty of this conversation. That religion is something I believe a lot of us could probably get by. That would make way more sense. And we could throw in morals and values and parables and all the bullshit that goes with it, right? We could become a people, a nation that's tied to a land and part of something bigger than ourselves. And that's my mentality, right? This idea of you working your entire life for nothing in the end is fucking dumb, right? And all of us chasing his nut while relying on like a resource that's very quickly diminishing in its motherfucking returns, right? Like all that fracking shit, no. Okay, let me tell you something about fracking, right? And this is important to understand. When you frack, most of your returns are in the first 18 months. Like 90% of what you're going to get back out of a well is in the first 18 months. After that, it drops off to about 5%. And they'll still produce for like the next 20 years at that 5%. But it's a very slow trickle. So that means you got to keep drilling more wells over and over and over again. You don't make money doing it. You're literally just feeding this fucking monster. And so what is it that you want? That's ultimately the question. What is it that you want? Being human. That's something we all need to talk about, right? What do you want? It's deep. These are negotiations that we're having right now. Motherfuckers can't understand this. They don't get that that's where we are. They think that everything they are built off of like their ability to go and earn. Not true. All men know me. In fact, everyone think of me doesn't think of my ability to earn money. They think of the things that I do. About 12 years ago, I had a neighbor whose daughter was hooked on heroin. I had a conversation with her. Having a conversation with her, phone rang. Pick up the phone. Knew who it was. He said, who this? It's Tom P. Bro, I don't want no problems. I said, well, you shouldn't have called this phone, dog. He goes, come on, man, please do. I don't press. I know who you are. I don't want no fucking problem. That's what I'm known for. Nobody knows what I do. They don't care what I do. You ask anybody on here about who I am. None of them will say he's a truck driver. Every one of them will say like, got 10 kids. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Fucking Italian. Oh, it's fucking ass. The retard. Whatever it is. Hey, you don't get defined by what it is that you do. I don't know what any of y'all do for. I mean, I know some of y'all. I know y'all personally. We got phone numbers. We brothers. We known each other a long time. Love y'all. That's not what defines y'all. When I think of Kay and Cappy, I don't think of where they work. Nigga Cappy and his guns. Nigga TK and his steroids. The Jew who motherfucking introduced him to motherfucking these. Job don't define you. Hasn't for a long time. You're a human. Embrace that. Keep going though.
That's totally right. It's just things to consider. So, as already mentioned, Bainbridge also conducted a 5-year ethnographic study of the Process Church, a group which can be seen as a splinter off from Scientology, hot take, the largest and most infamous scientistic cult with a penchant for technology, alien mythologies, the development of psychic powers, and a prime directive of space travel. Thank you for accurately describing the process. I appreciate that. In New Religions, Science, and Secularization, Bainbridge presents the following mandate. It is time to move beyond mere observation of scientific cults and use the knowledge we have gained of recruitment strategies, cultural innovation, and social needs to create better religions than the world currently possesses. At the very least, unobtrusive observation must be supplemented by active experimentation. Religions are human creations. Our society quite consciously tries to improve every other kind of social institution. Why not religion? Members of the process, founded mainly by students from an architecture school, referred to the creation of their cult as religious engineering, the conscious, systematic, skilled creation of a new religion. I propose that we become religious engineers. We have roles to play as consultants to existing new religions, helping them solve problems that our research has permitted us to understand. But we must be prepared to.
What was the Council of Nicaea? What was the Vatican City? What do all the cardinals do? I know Protestants, y'all don't understand. None of y'all Protestants understand any of this. Right? So, like, you're not part of this conversation. But, like, in the Orthodox Church, your fathers of the church. And what do? They, work out shit, when there's like a problem. Have these conversations. They do the same thing. The whole point of having like some centralized shit to your church, right? So that you can work some stuff out. Now you notice that the Protestants, what they do is let people do whatever they want and whatever works, right? Which is a terrible idea because then you end up with Joel Osteen, right? You end up with these mega churches where like the pastors are like fucking floating yachts and flying around in private fucking jets and shit, getting their dick sucked by gay prostitutes, right? You don't want that's antithetical to your belief structure, not like your church itself, antithetical to your belief structure because your church itself has no morals whatsoever, right? But it's antithetical to your belief structure, right? Keep going.
Launch cults of our own invention, a task I admit is both hazardous to one's own welfare and outrageous in the eyes of people who refuse to admit that all religions are human creations. But it is far better for honest religious engineers to undertake the creation of new religions for the sake of human betterment than to leave the task to madmen and wealth-hungry frauds. That is just the most audacious thing that anybody's ever said.
I literally just said the same thing, bro, before he said it. Right? I said the same thing before he said it because, listen, I'll be real. And let me keep this 100 with you. I didn't listen to this before. I listened to part of this, and then I got frustrated that Neurojack wouldn't pause the goddamn thing because I wanted to fucking scream at the top of my lungs, let's talk about this because this is great. Right? Yo, this is brilliant. Right? Because you notice, listen, I said the same shit. I said, bro, listen, you end up with Joel Osteen, right? Way better, right, for you to, try to pre-plan this shit. I get it that, it's not an easy undertaking. How do I put this? Going viral is difficult, right? You can buy some bots right? And like pushing astroturf for movement so far. But eventually niggas is gonna like fucking reject it, right? You know what I mean? Because like the problem's the front man. That's always the issue is the front man. That's liberalism. Either A, you end up with a JD Vance where JD Vance might be the most accomplished human being who has ever lived in the history of humanity, short of like Alexander or Napoleon, right? For his age. And in case you don't know about JD Vance, bro, let me explain something to you. Okay. My man was born to a heroin addicted mom, right? Who, you know, what I mean, basically bounced. No dad. His grandmother raised him. He ended up fucking graduating with honors from high school, went to motherfucking the Navy, joined the fucking Marines, went and became a fucking journalist. He was in the journalist corps in the Marine Corps in Afghanistan, right? Came back, used a GI Bill to graduate fucking summa cum laude out of fucking, like, I want to say Ohio State or Michigan State. One of the two, I'm not 100%, right? Then went to fucking Yale, right? Yo, and graduated with a Juris Doctorate. Left, fucking tried to start a motherfucking startup fund, fucked up, ended up hooking up with like Peter Thiel's joint, made $1 billion, came back, started another venture capital fund, right? And now runs charities and is now vice president. He became a fucking congressman out of Ohio and is now vice president of the United States at 41 years old. Bro, listen, okay? How many lifetimes would it take for you to be able to do that? It's like Arnold. Same shit. He's like, I'm gonna get famous for working out, become a movie, move to America, right? Become a movie star, even though I don't know the fucking language, right? Marry a fucking Kennedy, become governor, right? And make $1 billion. How many lifetimes would it take for you to accomplish these? Where we are. And we still all tear these men down. Oakville, son. Oakville.
Sorry, I cannot believe that they put this in writing. It's a good thing Bainbridge has the distinction clear in his mind. Too bad he leaves out the possibility that many socially influential madmen were driven by the honest desire for human betterment.
I've lost my ability to be jealous of other men or envious of other men. I can't draw. I can't paint. I don't get mad at motherfuckers who. I'm always in awe watching them because I know I can't. When I see great men, it doesn't make me feel little. I'm not intimidated by those great. Most Americans. And that problem, I don't know how to fix.
Bainbridge's vision is of a golden age that would be a turning point for human productivity and quality of life, in which humanity becomes like a single distributed and interconnected brain based in new core pathways of society, as well as being an enhancement to the productivity and independence of individuals. What's on offer is greater opportunities to achieve personal goals, including, naturally, the possibility of interstellar travel to offer new hope for spiritual immortality. Bainbridge apparently.
Let me say what up to everybody. Still ESP, Nacho Damas. What up, my brother? On Tactical. Love y'all, motherfuckers. Thank you for being.
Has the afterlife all mapped out along specifically merit based lines. He terms it, rather disarmingly, the arrival of the fittest. So, let's get into this. We're not going to read through the whole thing. I know this is a lot. Calculation of the geometric realities facing colonization of the universe suggests that there might not be enough room in the galaxy for endless copies of absolutely everybody. The answer is a simple one. A person must earn a new life by contributing in some way, direct or indirect, to the development and maintenance of the entire system that explores and colonizes space. Well-educated people can ensure the demographic growth of their population through interstellar immortality. By arrival of the fittest, those with the most advanced minds and cultures will spread across the galaxy. Sounds a little bit racist. We have the technology already today to begin.
I mean, isn't this ultimately like what happens anyway? Survival of the fittest, bro. Like going to space, it's 100% gonna be survival of the fittest. Keep it a being.
And archiving human personalities at low fidelity within what I call Starbase. Oh, so they are already archiving. So he's answering my question about, positing the theory, not necessarily Marianne, but that they are doing this. Within what I call Starbase, a database destined eventually to be transported to the stars. To gain entry to Starbase, a person must contribute significantly in some way to the creation of interstellar civilization. One way is to help develop technologies for archiving and reanimating human personalities at ever high fidelity. Another is to work towards the establishment of small human colonies, first on the moon or Mars, where Starbase can be headquartered and where serious work on reanimation can begin.
I just wrote about this before I read this, and before I heard this. I mean, I wrote about this because, like, this is to be expected. What we were just talking about a little bit ago, right? Um, from 20 fucking 3, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. The future will look much more like the past and the present. You have two societies in Western countries, one where people live off the land and one where they build space stuff. This will be a necessity, similar to prioritizing treatment for medical needs in emergency room. In an emergency, this is called triage. In society, refer to this as politics. Instead of determining who receives care based on their likelihood of survival or immediate need, it'll be based on energy uses versus productive output. Here's the thing: all that cheap plastic crap you have, prepackaged food that has been shipped all around the world, costs a lot of energy. The average fruit cut from Dole travels 20,000 miles before it gets to your table. It means for each million tons of fruit cuts shipped to U.S. Consumers, approximately 500,000 barrels of oil is used to ship them. With 10 million tons consumed annually, approximately 5 million barrels of oil are used to transport these products. This goes for everything you consume. As a human being, from your cell phone to YouTube, approximately 139 million gallons of fresh water are used in cooling and power generation each month in the United States just for watching YouTube. Here's the problem: the cost of these things is cheap. YouTube is basically free for most people who are willing to watch ads. Fruit cups cost $1 a piece. Even if you say, oh, well, the market will bear out the price for energy or water or whatever resource it is, ultimately it's not the market to sell. It's not the markets to sell. These resources are finite. The people who need these resources in the future have not been born yet, so we cannot tell you what the price will be for them. Just as we as millennials who could never sell oil for $70 a barrel in 1940 because we weren't alive yet. Are you so important today that you should be able to squander the future's resources for such petty things as Bigfoot shorts and prepackaged pears from Thailand? Who are you, and what do you do for the future that allows you to be able to make such claims to these resources? Now, for someone such as Neurojack, with whom I stream with from time to time, this will sound like demonic stuff. But the truth is that he has been brainwashed into believing he is all that matters long term. He doesn't even know it. I'm not picking on him, but this is the prevailing attitude among the majority of the population who believe things like 15 minutes evil. WF Down syndrome, Nordic ideas meant to make humans eat bugs. Thing is, though, all these people have the attitude that the WEF has about black people All these people have the attitude that the WEF has about black people on welfare. They are like, take it away, and if they riot, shoot them. I would like to try another approach. We've been discussing my ideas about communitarianism on the Substack for about a year now. These ideas have evolved and become much more mainstream to my own and others' efforts. The coming AI job apocalypse is an inevitable train streaming down the tracks. I suggested this solution because it's the best way for humanity to continue existing in a world where they will no longer be productive. I see my place as preparing the world for this. I see my place as preparing the world for the inevitable. The idea that you will probably own nothing and be happy. The reason is because you'll be giving your family and community back. However, you will no longer be able to purchase Pez dispensers or Goku bobbleheads on a credit card. These modern luxuries will no longer be on the table because as soon as AI performs basic math on our logistics and planetary energy usage, this will be immediately addressed. The goals will be set to become interplanetary, and the AI will inform them that based on the current usage, there's no way that we will have enough energy to build the basic structures needed for such endeavors. There will be two classifications for humans: useful and not useful. In order for the useless to survive, they'll be forced onto the land and told good luck. What will determine whether someone is useful or not will be a list of attributes, attitudes, abilities, and applications. Attributes will include IQ, height, weight, medical conditions, and other relevant factors. Your attitude will be considered, whether you're able to perform with others and how you feel about the project and how you act in general. Your abilities will be judged based on what you can do. What are you proficient at? Of course, applications. Is there a need for your abilities? Just because you can do something doesn't mean it's needed. There may be many others who can do what you do much better than you. There may be too many people who can do what you do. If the criteria aren't met, well, it's off to the farm with you. There's no need to waste valuable petroleum, iron, drugs, coffee, concrete, cobalt, molybdenum, or cadmium on you. Why waste data processing on a person who isn't contributing? It's strange how we transition from not thinking about the future at all to only thinking about this, though, is, well, normal for the modern age. Went from everything is a devil in 1990s to litter boxes in kids' bathrooms in 2016. So I suppose that's par for the course these days. I guess as you are all wondering, where will you fit on this list of people? Are you useful? I know for sure I'm going to the farms. Here's a general rule of thumb. If you have anything to do with the service sector in any way, you are going to the farms. It's okay to go to the farm. There's nothing wrong with this. You didn't choose wrong. You were just used to serving an economy. You're not making it. You are not designing the next titanium knee replacement. You are the person who is selling it. That person is not a necessity. I do transport and logistics. I will be immediately thrown in the farms. This is life. I'm fine with it. I would love the chance to have my children and me working towards feeding each other. It means I get to be happy the rest of my life, even if I own nothing. Listen, Substacks. This is some basics. Oh, Will Heron, what up, my brother? Nice to see you. Love you too, man. All right. So, I guess, the end of the day, right? This here, right, as a whole, an idea that needs to be like sold better, I think. Because if it was explained to you the way I do, buy it every fucking time. Buy it 7 days a fucking week.
Okay, we love that, right? Let me see how much we've got left. All right, yeah, I don't want to read the rest of this. It's too much for me. But right here, this is just something that I think is very interesting, and that's why I highlighted it. One of the primary emphases of The Key is how the planet Earth is a death trap and a prison. The same thing Scientology teaches. In order to escape it, humanity must develop interstellar travel and spread it out across the universe. Find an efficient utilization of energy that will enable you to colonize your solar system and reduce population pressure on Earth. So, a bunch of space nerds, right? And I get that people have strong feelings about space. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I'm never gonna be a space nerd. This is the only angle that I'm coming.
It's just me and this bitch have giant.
At this from, because this just seems.
Oh, look at the size of that chick's hands. They are as big as her fucking face.
right? And I get that people have strong feelings about space. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I'm never gonna like be a space nerd. This is the only angle that I'm coming at this from because this just seems.
Look how big that bro's hands is. Yo, it's weird. I've been running through a lot of this shit, bro. Like, honest to God. Like, here's the thing. I think as chicks, you know what I mean? Like, I think we as humans, like, our hands and feet have continued growing. At least women's have, right? Into their 30s and 40s, or like the rest of their body hasn't. Because I've been running into like a lot of females recently, you know what I mean, who are not like that big of people. And their fucking hands are gigantic, bro. I'm like, yo, why are your hands so fucking big? You listen, and their feet are gigantic too. And I'm like, bro, listen, I wear size like 12 and a half shoe. That's not a little shoe size, right? You listen, that's not a little shoe size. And these chicks had the same size feet as me. I'm like, bruh, the fuck is going on? Like, cause I know, and I know like this isn't abnormal because like, you know, like my baby's mom's wears like a 6, right? You know what I mean? Like, I know tons of people who like their feet are like little. Like, but like, listen, there's some fucking people out here just like hands are gigantic. I don't know.
This is all like really dark to me. This whole idea of like AI and thinking that you're like gonna call.
Yo, fucking, bruh, was she like a dope head, bruh? Cause like, listen, she got like fucking ink on her fucking on her knuckles and shit too, bruh. Like, you see that? Anybody see that shit?
Space with, you know, find an efficient utilization of energy that. So you're going.
Hold up. Listen, hang on. Look. She got like, well, let me make sure y'all can see. Look. Look at this right, bro. Listen, look at this right here. Got ink on her motherfucking on her fucking knuckles. Bro, listen, was she like a dope fiend or something at one point, bro? Like, yo, bananas. Crazy work. I mean, I'm down. 100% I'm down, but like, yo, I like to know the history of this shit.
So you're going against the man, so to speak. But what William Sims Bainbridge is discussing is literally taking on like the personalities and downloading them of the elites, the elitists, the deep state, one might call them, in all sectors, and then recreating this new world with them. That's who wants that? It's enough of a hellscape here. Like, that's just dumb. I mean, I'm sorry. In my opinion, it's just dumb. But let me go ahead and see. We are gonna get in. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm not trying to offend any other sci-fi wankers. Absolutely. The use of the term wanker in my chat has just gotten so fun. I'm glad that it's working its way into my vernacular. I'm gonna let you know that I'm gonna upset some people, I'm most certain, with some of this discussion because just keeping it fact based, you know, as far as the transhumanism angle, you know, this does tie up with discussions about transgenderism. There's your one warning. I don't care. I'm.
Oh yeah. Like, yo, you know what I mean? In my book that I'm writing on Substack, you know what I mean, 2035, like basically transgenders are the bugmen, right? Like a transhumanist and transgenderist shit. Like we broke this down in one of my last streams where like we were talking about Peter Thiel, you know what I mean, being interviewed, and Peter Thiel sat here and said that the people who want to like cut off genitalia aren't taking it far enough as far as transhumanists are concerned. They're not even like really transhumanists. They're barely transhumanists because they're just talking about gender, right? Like, yo, listen, bruh. I mean, because yeah, like transgender and transhuman, right, is the same shit, right? Because like a transgender motherfuckers, right, as far as like today's are concerned, I'm talking about like years ago, right? We're like back in like fucking Jack Sparrow days, you know, Captain Jack Sparrow, right? You know what I mean? Not talking about like, I'm like back then, a different thing. Today, these motherfuckers are there to be able to fit into a like office cubicle environment, right? Because the best student in the school is a female, right? Because they sit in there, I mean, docile and shit. The best motherfucker to sit in a cubicle and is an autistic female. I mean, you want somebody to sit in a closet and code all day, you want an autistic woman. They're completely docile, chill, you know what I mean? Like require medical attention and will buy things on a plastic credit card, keeping themselves in the debt, keeping them working. Right? It's gender female, bro. You know what I mean? Keep it a bean. I mean, so yeah, like it is all tied up with a tech nerd.
I'm not here to coddle anybody. I'm also not here to hurt anybody's feelings, right? That's not my intention. I have three more things, because one of these things relates to Mr. Josh Zeman, which I now have a different sort of theory as to how maybe he got involved in some of this, but one of these things is really corny. One is an old occult magazine.
All right, yo, listen. Honor with you. I got to go take a shit. Right? So, like, listen, I'm going to get up out of here. I don't even know how long we've been streaming. About 11 minutes? Yo, I'm good, bro. All right. We get up out of here. I love you.